What up, world? It's your boy Vic XL, and y'all know this is the internet's only country rap report where we're discussing everything country rap. And you know what? I thought that y'all probably got goddamn tired of looking at my ugly ass mug. So I figured I'll bring my partner, my longest running friend that's still alive, Fletcher Batch, to join me as we break down country rap music weekly for you guys. What up, sir?
What's up, world? What's up, man?
So, man, look.
What are we jumping on today?
Country rap music is exploding. Now, country rap music has been around for years. It's not
Right.
new. It's not new, but it seems like, especially in 2020, with a lot of people quarantining, being at home, probably using mobile devices and computers more than they normally would, it seemed like the numbers in country rap music has exploded. Do you agree with that?
I agree, and I think we can probably thank the former president for all of that. But that's a deeper topic that we can get in later on.
You know what? I agree with that too. We definitely can thank the former president. The funny thing about the former president, I'm gonna say this and then we're gonna go further.
Okay.
The former president, who is embraced largely by the country rap community,
Correct.
is probably one of the most mentioned person in hip hop music before he became the president.
Yeah, for all the other reasons, just for the flashiness and just being over the top, like all of it in regular hip hop. Yes, for sure.
Yes, Ray Sherman once had a song called "Up Like Trump."
Yep.
And so if there ever is a hip hop Mount Rushmore, or if there was a hip hop coin, we probably should put his face on it, just because he's been embraced so much by rappers.
Well, had he not ran for president, I probably agree with you. But I think the presidency probably may have tarnished that a little bit. But he still has that influence over hip hop. Like since he came on the scene and all his over the top stuff and rappers wanting to be this glorious and flashy and blingy and all of that stuff, everything that he represented, like he has made his stamp or put his stamp on hip hop. But once he made his presidency what it was, that kind of tarnished that image, if I want to say that in a positive way. But he is still who he is. Like I'm a firm believer of history. You can't erase it as much as you try. So the contributions that he have given to hip hop, you can't walk away from that. Like maybe he should be on one side. He don't deserve both sides, but maybe he should be on one side for sure.
The reason I put him on both sides is because once urban hip hop abandoned him, it seems like country rap picked him up.
Yeah, but hip hop, this would be a country rap debate, but hip hop has never embraced country rap. So you'll have a coin with two sides, but only one side of the coin will be respected based on whose hands that coin is in, which is the whole country rap versus hip hop dilemma. But you know that's another topic we'll get over. There might be a debate between us and a couple other country rap folks, just so we can sit down and clarify what they think country rap is, quote unquote, because the definition varies from what Upchurch says it is to what No Jumper says it is to it's just crazy. Like, and then these are all hip hop people, but their opinions of what country rap is as varying as the different types of genre in hip hop.
All right, so that was a great segue into what we're going to talk about. I done a blog a few weeks back about Ryan Upchurch's appearance on No Jumper. And but you know what? I wanted to have this discussion with you, and I just think we need to dive a little deeper because a lot of people seen the podcast. A lot of people like what was said. A lot of people didn't. So I would like to talk with you on Ryan Upchurch's and country rap music's first appearance on a hip hop themed podcast.
Okay.
You got an opportunity to check it out?
I did. I watched it I watched it twice. A couple times I had to rewind it because I was like, did he just say what I thought he said? But it was puzzling. And a lot of it wasn't coming from Ryan. Actually, after watching the whole podcast, I kind of got more respect for Ryan as a person. But I got less respect for No Jumper. I don't what the fuck is his real name? Whatever his real name is. The No Jumper dude. I got less respect for him because of the type of questions that he was asking. It wasn't really hip hop related questions. It was more like lifestyle questions. Like what do you do in your daily life? Or it's just a typical interview. And I didn't really want to know that. I wanted to know Ryan Upchurch's procedure of creating music. I wanted to see what his thought patterns were and why he made such songs. He didn't delve into it as much as I wanted to, had I interviewed him or had we sat down and talked to him and drilled him, because I think Upchurch is a true hip hop head. And it didn't come through in that interview. I just got this redneck likes to do dip. He likes girls. He likes to party, and he likes his family and friends. That was the gist that I got from Upchurch. But I think had he delved a little bit more, he would have got more into his character, got a little bit more into the type of funny guy that he is, because I do follow him on all social media platforms. It was just a weird interview. But for what it was, I did pull out a couple points. Some things were puzzling, but most of it, the overall gist of it, I still like Upchurch, regardless.
Okay.
And I'm still trying to figure out what No Jumper's angle was.
Now, I'm gonna say this: being I'm not gonna say a fan, but a follower of No Jumper. I'm gonna be honest. That interview he gave was the typical Adam 22 type interview. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
I think in today's era, I think interviews are just as much about the interviewer as the interviewee. I don't think a lot of I've been doing interviews for years, and to me, it was never about me. I always wanted to make sure I tried to ask all the questions I think the consumer would want to be answered. And I think nowadays, I don't think the average person do their research or anything like that. Now, but I agree with you because I had some questions about his character based on certain situations, and he actually answered those questions through the interview.
Upchurch.
Yes, he definitely answered those questions. I want to talk a little bit about what he said about people being able to have like differences of opinion. Like say, and we're just going to take the presidency because it's a hot topic. Say I'm pro Biden, you're pro Trump.
I think he used a little bit of that as his example too.
Yes. That doesn't mean that we can't coexist. And I like that because you want to be honest and call it naive. I didn't expect him to take that perspective. I expected it to be a Trump or nothing. And the way that he kind of transcended his thoughts was, look, man, we can get along regardless of our political beliefs.
Right. And I respect that. But that line gets crossed when some of those political beliefs or some of those political figures start saying stuff that is derogatory towards me. And if me and you cool, and that dude say something messed up towards me and you and him still cool, then and just not just in hip hop, but in life, there's an issue with that. If somebody's saying I don't like him, but I'm cool with him, like now you got to figure out who you finna be cool with, because I'm not cool with him, but you're cool with him. So me and you still cool? That is the question. That's probably the question that went through most black folks the last 4 years. You cool with him, but he ain't cool with me. So how are me and you still cool? And I don't know how to answer that. Like, yeah, we should be able to embrace all of our differences, but some differences, like race related, when you're dealing with LGBTQ stuff, like when you're dealing with sensitive topics, like the isms, like when you start bringing them into it, then then it gets a little muddy. It ain't as clear cut as we should all get along, or we can't all be friends. Like it's not. It never ends that way. And as much as I respect him for his answer, like you, I didn't think it was gonna come out of his mouth. I thought it was just gonna be this redneck man. Man, fuck it, fuck them. You know, I'm pro Trump. Like if anybody got an issue with that, then fuck that. No, he was more like, I have my opinion, you have yours. Fuck it. You know, if we still want to be around each other, then we can still be around each other. That's
Well,
how I took it.
well, I kind of take it like we can jail on our common bonds. If our bond is music, then let's jail and unite on music. If our bond,
And I agree with that. But, and I'm telling you, this is me talking to you as a friend. When that commonality, there's certain things that when it come into the picture, the commonality is thrown out the window. Like it now starts to question, like, damn, like, how do you really view me? If that's how he feels and you support him, like, what am I to you? Like, and then these are some fundamental questions we've had to deal with for 4 years primarily, but most of our existence. Like, and I'm talking about ours and African Americans in this country. Like, how do we deal with that? And that's a bigger question past the music. And again, like I said, I respect him for saying it. He didn't back down from it. And he didn't back down from shit in the whole interview, to be honest, which I again respect him for because I wasn't expecting it.
all right, as a whole, do you feel okay? Like to me, do you feel like he gave a proper definition of what country rap is? And do you even feel like
No,
he considers himself a country rap artist?
I don't. Well, yes to the second part. I think he feels like he's a country rap artist based on his definition of what country rap is. And for him, it's just if you're in the country and you rap, you're a country rapper. Which okay, that's cool. Throughout fucking the history of rap, then we've had quite a few country rappers. Going down the list that I think he mentioned. Who he mentioned? I don't think he mentioned Juvenile. He came up in the conversation, but I know he mentioned Kevin Gates, Plies. Plies is definitely country as hell. He mentioned Jeezy, he's from my area. These were country rappers, but they don't spit country rap lyrics because in his definition, he also said earlier in the interview that the listeners will know if you're lying in reference to if you bought that country shit. Plies ain't riding no fuck. Well, Plies might be riding a 4-wheeler, but Plies ain't that country. Plies isn't doing the country grammar or the country lingo or the country dialect. He's a country nigga, but he ain't about that country life as in what these folks that are primarily in country rap are. Plies might wear overalls. I don't know. He might wear a straw hat. He might do that. Plies is a weird dude, which is what some of the examples that No Jumper and Ryan brought up. But I don't see Plies hanging with those guys versus him just being a country nigga riding around in the country. Most Mississippi rappers are country as fuck because all of Mississippi is country. Same for Louisiana, unless you're in a major city. Like if you're a rapper in those areas, you're quote unquote a country rapper to him. But the demographic isn't that today. The demographic is more about the listener than it would be versus the rapper, if you're talking about country rap, in my opinion.
Now, the definition, I just Googled the definition of country rap. Country rap or country hip hop is a fusion genre of popular music blasting country music with hip hop style rapping.
Then Ryan would definitely be a country rapper.
And
but there's a whole bunch of other non-black people that would be country rapper that are not considered country rappers today throughout the history of rap.
okay.
So I don't that definition and that definition probably is going to be updated the more popular some of these country rappers become, especially Upchurch. The bigger he gets, the more he's able to define the genre. Because right now the genre is wide the fuck open, and they're really, other than him and a couple others, but there's him, and then there's everybody else. And right now he is the epitome, which is why he was on No Jumper. Like they didn't ask who's one of these other random folks to get on there. About the Lax, they didn't ask the Lax to be on No Jumper. No disrespect to the Lats, because I'm a fan. They didn't ask them to get on there, and they've been doing it probably longer than Ryan Upchurch. But when you're doing those type of interviews, especially on the platform of No Jumper, you gotta talk to people that are upper echelon. Again, no disrespect to the Lex, but Ryan Upchurch, no one in country rap will disagree that Ryan Upchurch is the epitome of what country rap is right now. Now, the ego aside, they might think that they may have better talent or some sort of better flow, or maybe even a better posse and fan base, whatever that looks like. But right now, you ask most folks who you listen to in country rap, Upchurch is the first name that falls out of their mouth.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Now, do you feel like we're gonna talk a little bit about No Jumper? Do you feel like this was a I don't want to use the term clickbait? Do you think bringing Upchurch on No Jumper from No Jumper's perspective, do you think it was a view grab? That's my new word, view grab.
Yeah, I like that. Well, they both could have used it, and then like the it wasn't to Upchurch's advantage to talk to No Jumper and vice versa. So I wouldn't say it was a view grab. I didn't feel like he could have went more in depth. And I've seen some of the other interviews. I've seen him ask inappropriate and appropriate questions just to dig. He didn't dig a lot. This was more of a surface thing. So from that standpoint, yeah, it might have been just a view grab from the No Jumper standpoint, because it was, and it's disappointing because he has a platform where he could make and break certain artists. And again, Ryan didn't have to do the damn interview, but he did it, and then he did it with no remorse and really no regard. He just went on there just being himself, which is cool. I'm glad he did. But it wasn't a representation of hip hop. It was more of a representation of Ryan Upchurch.
That was going to be my next question. If you were an artist in the genre of country rap, would you feel like it was a good representation of your genre, or do you feel like it was just really self-satisfying for Upchurch?
No, because Upchurch always, from the stuff that I've seen, he's always seemed to give back some sort of way. He'll give you an advice. Now, some of those advice pieces might be done in a comical way to where you might not take it serious. But some of the stuff that he said in his interview, a lot of those people should be taken serious. Like, I think he said one of the things that he does, and I think No Jumper asked him if he listened to other rappers, and he said no. He said he don't pay attention to anyone, which is what I've been saying since I've been in the music industry. Fuck everybody else. You can't focus on your shit if you're listening to everybody else. You can't be you if you're listening to them and then now you're influenced by them. This is the same shit that Ryan said. Like, you'll be influenced by what they're doing based on what you're hearing from them, and now you're not being who you are. Instead of you just canceling out all of the noise and focusing on whatever it needs to be for you to be the best artist you can be. So I when he said that, I was like, oh shit, like that's validation, because I've been saying it for 30 plus years and very few people have listened. Whether they paid me as a consultant or I did it for free, that part is detrimental for you being a good artist. And for him to be conquering a new genre in hip hop, and that is his method of operating. A lot more people, especially in country rap, especially in music, you need to be focusing on you instead of all the other stuff that's going on around. Like, damn the competition. Like, they ain't put no money in your pocket. Yeah, they are there, but if you focus on you and you do the best you that you can do, then whatever they're doing is insignificant. He also said, I think No Jumper said, another piece of, and it irked me. He said, a label will push you to be a major artist, and that is the only way that you could operate. And I was like, oh, who the fuck paid you to say that? Like, that kind of irked me, because there's a whole shit ton of independent artists that are just as known or just as paid as some of these major artists. Now I know, okay, now I'll use Tech Nine as an example. Tech Nine probably has the #1 independent label out there in hip hop. Been acting independently for years. Don't need anybody else. If he don't want to do any collaborations with anybody, he doesn't have to. This is all self-contained. Like he would probably be the poster child for some of these people how they need to operate. Hell, he might even be considered country rap based on his shit, quote unquote, the definition of it. But I disagree that you have to have a label to get to superstar status. That's bullshit. And I got label friends like that call me daily, and you do too. Like I don't know how they would take that, but it's not a need of a label. If you want a label, then I'm not saying that you shouldn't take that deal, but know what comes with it when you take that deal. Because it's not cleaning. It's not that cut dry type of thing. Okay, I'm gonna be this label and label for to make me as big as Beyonce and Jay-Z tomorrow. Like it's a lot of shit that comes in between you becoming Jay-Z and or Beyonce from A to Z.
Now I don't know why. Maybe I missed that. I don't. Who actually said that you needed a label? Was that Adam or
No Jumper? No Jumper said it, and then Adam rebutted like, "I'm cool with where I am," or something like that. This is me paraphrasing, but he was content with where he was as a label and as an artist, and that's what I got from that conversation, which is cool because he ain't trying to do nothing extra. Like Adam Upchurch, I keep calling Adam Ryan Upchurch is probably, I don't know what it's worth. He might be worth 20, 30 million. This is my estimation. But he didn't need No Jumper. Neither did No Jumper need him, and Upchurch doesn't need a label. But if a label came along and offered him the right check for the right project, then I don't think he should turn it down if the money is right. And the money would have to be right. And I think his rebuttal was in the conversation, they ain't fucking with my back catalog. Because he said that they would take the back catalog and, even though they would make more money off of his back catalog in 2 years than they would in 5 years, something like that. I can't remember exactly what he said, but he was right when he said it, and I understand the notion of why he said it. But for an example, if Universal say, "Hey, we'll pay you $10 million for your next album," or we'll give you $10 million for 2021, you can keep your back catalog, that might be something you want to consider. Because the majors are lurking like vultures, and they're circling this genre.
Now, I'm gonna answer two things that you just said, and I feel like this is something that should have came out in the interview. Maybe Upchurch should let us interview him. Number one, he is, as of today, and this is not an accurate number, but his net worth is $4 million.
Well, his YouTube is worth about $3 million, so that's, I don't understand that valuation. He's got hits. Like he's got multi-million sellers. I think that number, again, that number might not be a little accurate.
That's the internet number.
That was that was my estimation. Well, he's worth about 3 to 4 with YouTube alone. Based on the numbers that are on Spotify and what he's generating there, he's probably another 2 to 3. And I don't know what he charges per show, but being the #1 guy, 3 million, being that amount, I would probably guess he's around 30 to 40 per show. That would be my guess. So if they estimate you doing 10 shows a month, so he's making $500,000 a month. Like those numbers, I don't think those numbers are accurate. But I'm not counting his pockets. This is just my professional estimations from how I understand the industry. From the outside looking in.
Well, also, which I think is amazing, because he talked about his catalog, and I know it's gonna be a little time consuming, but I just got to go down this just because. When you look at his discography, he has over 15 album releases. His first release was 2015, Cheatham County.
Mm-hmm.
Then he had Heart of America, 2016, Chicken Willie, 2016, Bad Motherfucker, 2016, Son of the South, 2017, King of Dixie, 2017, Project X Volume 1, 2018, Creeker, 2018. The Oven with Demon Jones, 2018. Supernatural, 2018. River Rat, 2018. Creeker 2, 2019. Parachute, 2019. Hooligan with Adam Calhoun, 2019. Everlasting Country, 2020. And he just released a project this week, Hadias, the album, 2021. That's like 16 full-length projects on Spotify without a major. So for that statement to be made by Adam, I just feel like, first of all, I think it was definitely a great promotional tool for church.
Right.
And I think it showed the lack of journalism on Adam's part because he didn't do enough to educate future fans about church.
Agreed.
Now,
his journalism ethics are different than most folks. Just based on the shit that came on after the damn interview. Like, I know. Okay, I'll wait till we get into that. But I lost respect for No Jumper. Matter of fact, I might have unsubscribed. And meet one dude unsubscribing out of however many followers he got. It's insignificant. But I don't want to co-sign that type of journalism. Me being someone who has been an editor of multiple publications, including the one that you turned over, Hip Hop Encounter. Like I'm some shit just don't fly with me, bro. And that kind of stuff, regardless of who it was and how it happened, it was foul.
Now before I get into the ethical journalism part. Now I did like hearing his come up story. Something he said that this is something I really respect about the country rap genre that I don't really respect on the hip hop side of things.
Okay.
And I gotta say hip hop and country rap just to make people understand what we're talking about.
Yeah, because it ain't the same. Yes, please do.
Like the average hip hop artist will not tell you I had a job at McDonald's and I was taking my little McDonald's money, flipping
Hell no.
in the studio. Most hip hop artists will make you think they came from the hip hop sky. They were born in a Bentley, fucking hoes with jewelry.
Or they got it out the mud by themselves and hustled it from day one with no help from nobody. Like no mama, no daddy, no friends, no nothing. Like I did all this shit by myself. I made my own beat, shawty.
And what I really like about Church's story, he talks about being in high school, started rapping around 17. I think he said he dropped out of high school, got a job doing construction. Man,
he was kicked out.
Well,
kicked out of high school.
Kicked out of high school, started working construction. Rewind. Lack of journalism here. When he mentioned that one of his favorite hip hop projects was Roy Jones Jr.
Yes, Lord. First of all, I was like, for real? Because that album was trash.
Other than the hit record, I Drank, I Smoke. Remember that? He had that.
Just trash, bro. It's still trash. It was only popular because it was who he was. The content was not the business, bro.
No,
ever. It was never the business.
That one song featuring Magic, rest in peace, did hit the charts, top 10 urban charts.
Oh, come on, we ain't gonna talk about them charts right there. Okay, okay. Right, respect due. They can have that. They can have that.
Personally, probably scan of those things myself. Trigger finger scan. But
right.
I made a lot of money off that project. Shouts out to Roy Jones, Round 1, the album, and Roy Jones Jr. Body Head Snatchers. I'm not sure which album that Church was referring to, but he actually had two. But it bothered me that as a journalist, Adam 22 did not know Roy Jones released the album, let alone two.
That's true. He did say that. He said he had to go research it.
And it was on a major label. He was on Universal.
Well, that's another thing. Like even when you're doing those type of things, you should be preparing questions with your interviewer so they'll be aware of, I'm not finna sidebar you, or ain't nothing finna come out of the blue. But this is what we're gonna talk about. So you prepare your answers. So for him to not know what was one of the most influential pieces in his life, that was a little messed up.
And not
I'm
to
surprised it was Roy Jones Jr. though. Dead surprised. I was thinking he was gonna say. Matter of fact, I don't even think he mentioned a white rapper other than other country rap artists. He didn't. I was expecting Beastie Boys. I was expecting Eminem. Shit, I would have even accepted MC Search, but he didn't mention another quote unquote hip hop act that's white. All the white acts he mentioned were from country rap, and I hate to keep doing the white black thing, but that's where I am with country rap. Not that again. That's a whole another conversation for another day.
I was actually shocked that he didn't mention Eminem, but I was cool that he didn't, because maybe inside he expects people to say, or expects people for him to mention Eminem. I was actually cool the fact that he actually mentioned Colt Ford,
He did mention Colt Ford,
who a lot of people might not know would be the Curtis Blow of country rap.
Yeah. Yes, and he still again, because the genre is so new and still not quote unquote respected. Shit, it ain't even organized. And that's just me knowing from the inside. But again, that's another interview for another day. But it's kind of, they're still trying to get all their shit together on how they're going to present themselves to the world. And right now, you got random folks being the voice. I'm not mad at Upchurch is the voice. If a couple other folks was trying to be the voice, I might take question to it. But I'm not mad that he is the voice, because not only is he the voice, talent wise, ain't nobody over there fucking with him. Like talent wise, that boy's probably, I would put him in my top 50. Shit, he might even be in my top 25 of all time lyricists. And he has I listened to the first project all the way up to the most current. He has progressed so much. Don't give a shit if you got ghostwriters. The cadence you can't fake. You can be taught that, but he has learned that from what short amount of time, 2015 up until 2021. In 6 years, this dude has taken over and became the poster child for an entire subgenre of hip hop. I respect him for that.
You know what else I like? I like the fact, going back to him saying he worked construction. Everyone, I would like to think 90% of artists who started out on the grind has had situations to where they release projects and either the producer allows them, they don't want nobody to ever hear that shit again. And he talks about his first release and he don't even know where the hell it's at. Because
right.
And artists swear to God, they jump off the platinum boat.
Right, that's true.
And he actually talked about that first project, which someone probably has it right now on a cassette tape, trying to sell it to the highest bidder, but it's not the first project that he released.
Right.
Again, in listening to him, that made me feel like I understand and respect the humbleness, and you're actually letting artists know how hard you might have to work to make it.
Yeah. Well, he and his overall thing was don't stop. Like whatever that hardness is that you got to go through, keep persevering. If this is really what you want to do, I think those are his words, then you need to do this, and it needs to be 100% focused, not 99 point whatever. It needs to be 100%. And when he, again, the entire interview was more of an introspect on Ryan Upchurch. I respect him for who he is, because he kept it real 100%. He didn't fake it none at all. Yeah, I had a job. Fuck it. I'm rapping now. I've been through relationship issues, but shit, fuck it. I'm here now. Like most of that shit, you don't hear from folks. You don't hear the pain or the anguish or the I failed at this or I got kicked out of this. You don't hear that shit from most people, especially in rap. But here he is, this white dude in the country, like fuck it. Yeah, I'm sticking to the $20 million amount, but this dude's worth $20 million now. from being genuine. You can't. You got to respect that. And this ain't even talking about the talent, because he will rap most folks under the bridge, but respecting him for who he is and not faking the funk. You cannot hate on Upchurch. If anybody hate on Upchurch, then you just a hater, because he ain't. I ain't even seen anything about him that is fake.
All right, now speaking of hating on Upchurch,
other than his teeth, because he did say he just bought those, but that was funny.
I mean, I'm buying some teeth too, so.
Me too, fam. I'm gonna give me a couple.
I got some on layaway. They won't give them to me right now, but I promise you, I'm gonna remove this goddamn microphone. This was, I thought, was a good question that Adam did ask. He asked him, with his growing popularity, were people coming out the woodwork? And I know,
right.
I know how easy it is to become a target when you
right.
are like the face of something. And he mentioned
right.
that he's definitely been targeted by a lot of people. I know there's a country rap artist by the name of Shotgun Shane, who they've had some words. I know him.
Right.
I know him and Hosier might not see eye to eye. But the one thing that I know that's documented on YouTube is he chose to actually get into a verbal sparring match with a blogger by the name of Screwface Jones. And I didn't understand what made him respond to Screwface. And I've done my research on that, because I didn't even know about, the diss records, and I checked out Screwface's. Yes, Upchurch definitely bodied him. And Screwface should stick to making blogs, but I wish Adam would have asked him, what made you respond to that guy?
I think he got into it just a little bit about the confrontation, but he didn't dig into it. Like, again, if we could, the next interview, maybe Upchurch did this as a prerequisite. Like, this is the basics of, this is who I am. So whoever want to interview me next, watch this, and then if you want to dig into it a little bit more, then you can use this. Hopefully that was why he did the whole interview, because it probably gave you more questions than it gave you answers. But again, I interview aside, I'm still for Upchurch and against No Jumper.
Okay. Also, because you're a numbers guy, video dropped 4 weeks ago. It's at, as of today, it's at 461,000 views. Do you feel like those are respectable numbers?
Those are respectable, especially for the genre. Like, a lot of people, a lot of his core fans probably rewatched it just to look into his life and his thought patterns a little bit more. Probably, if you are a country rapper or somebody aspiring to be a country rapper, I think the interview would still be a good source material for you to watch, just so you can see how you should be. And let's go ahead and get on that after interview comments, because I was about to break it again on you, but I'm waiting on you to segue into it, because it's still irking me. Let's go ahead and jump into that.
No. One more thing, and then we're gonna jump into it.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Because the next thing will kind of segue into it, because it's journalism too. So there's a very public issue that a lot of people who are familiar with Upchurch knows about, because you mentioned he did talk about affairs and love interests and dating.
Right.
So Adam 22 asked him about a situation where he basically went ballistic online about a relationship that he was in. Right. And now, me personally, because I know somewhat of the situation from doing my journalistic research, I actually respected the way Upchurch handled that situation on No Jumper.
Okay.
He didn't. Now, Adam, as an interviewer, I feel like should have known who the female was, because she's a rising star as well. But obviously, obviously, Adam didn't even know who the female was to mention her name, and Church didn't mention her name either, which actually, to me, helps preserve what she's working on.
Right. And I respect Adam for I respect Upchurch for not mentioning the name because for him it's like the shit's over with. Fuck it. But for No Jumper to not know the name and not even mentioning it. Now it might have been an agreement between the two. Say, hey, we ain't gonna mention our name. Like just we'll skirt around it. You can ask me one question about that shit, and we ain't gonna ask no more. So that might have been his way in it. I don't know, but from based on body language, um, Ryan got a little bit upset about it, but then he didn't get to the point to where he was screaming and had to stand up and got a little belligerent. None of that stuff. He was like, "Fuck it," you know. But that's again, I didn't see him act out of character, act out of line the entire interview. And I was looking real hard at that part of the interview just to see if it was going to irk him. But he looked over at his homeboys when he mentioned it. Maybe one of them gave him a nod that you can talk about it, and then that was it. That was the only little irk that I saw was a little bit out of the ordinary.
But yeah, now, do we mention her name or do we not?
Well, it's a yes. Her name is Katie Noel. That's who he was talking about. That No Jumper didn't even know who the hell the girl was that he was ranting about in his online video. Yes.
All right, so this is my thing, and maybe this comment might upset some people. But it's our show, so it doesn't matter. All right, this is my thing about fans. And I guess this kind of goes back to our initial conversation about if you support this guy, how can we be cool if he believes this and believes
right.
that?
Right.
So and if everyone went, because all right, yeah, I've searched and searched and searched, and maybe it's there, maybe it's been removed. I have not heard her recollection of the story. I haven't seen any interviews, haven't seen any blogs. Maybe I missed them. If someone watches this video, if you can drop a link to a Katie Noel response or her side of the story, I would love to see it. But based on what he said, it was just a situation of a guy thinking he could turn a gay girl straight.
He said those were his words. Yes. Those were his words. Yes. And I again, commend him for his honesty. It might have been a little bit of stupidity in that moment, but yes, I respect him for that. I respect him for being honest. I don't respect him for what he did, but I definitely have to give him kudos because a lot of people won't say that, especially dudes. You know, yeah, this lesbian was over my house and I was trying to turn her on and see if I could turn her out. Like, yeah, well, they ain't gonna say that in public. Definitely not in no damn interview where 400,000 people, gonna watch it off the rip. So yeah, what bothers me about that part though is that part shows a lack of sensitivity, I guess. Like she is a human being, and then maybe they have had conversations after the fact or what after the whole incident. I don't know. Neither one of us knows. And I'm not sure if I even want to know the particulars on that part. But my thing about that whole thing, if somebody is a certain way, gay, lesbian, trans, or whatever it is, and for you to not respect them for that, then that's disrespectful. Now that part I took a little issue with. That would be like somebody, one of your homeboys is gay and you keep saying faggot when you know that word is offensive to them, and they say, hey, don't say that word, and you still say it. That's just being blatantly disrespectful, not just to that person, but to the culture.
Yeah.
So that is that's the only part in there that I took issue with. But again, maybe they've had conversations, maybe they have let it go. I don't know. But we know that some careers have been built off of this entire moment that we're talking about. So it's not a little thing, and it's not something that's going to go away because the public doesn't know the truth. Right. And the whole truth hasn't been said because, we're waiting on Katie.
Right. And not to mention, because I'm not angry at anything he's doing at this point, and I think it took a real big guy to come up and say, hey, you know what? Because I'm gonna be honest. Most men have known a gay girl and be like, shit, I give her some of the wood. I'm gonna turn.
For sure. For
Most
sure.
men at that point in time, especially if she looks good, like shit,
Yeah.
I can turn her, even if it's just me one time. So
That's the challenge. That's the challenge.
it's
That's the ultimate challenge.
matter of fact, he used that term challenge. So I
Yeah.
understand it's a young boy mistake. She never filed any charges. I've even heard the term by some people said, maybe she accused him of the R word. But he didn't say that. And it seemed like a guy got rejected and maybe he took his talents to his platform before she could get to her platform. This is what I don't like about that has nothing to do with No Jumper. Him being so large has made people to this very moment, I can pull up her Instagram and she's engaged now. And there are people,
Right.
fans of his, who use his hashtag who are still disrespecting her about that situation. And that's the only thing. I respect the fact that he handled it the way he did on No Jumper. I just don't respect the fact that his fans are really bullying her.
Well, yeah, that's the appropriate word. And I don't think they care. These are the, again, we're talking about the fan base. These are the same motherfuckers that will run a Confederate flag up in the yard and set the bitch on fire. Like that, I'm not surprised, and I'm not calling them less intelligent. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. You can, for that fan base to condone that type of shit. Um, I know it's stupid. Like, this is a human being that we're talking about. She's trying to move on. Hadn't said a word about the incident, but his fans won't let her be at peace. It's sickening. I can even, and again, about the careers that have been built off of this moment. Every time certain other people post videos, you can see in the comments where such and such bodied her, just like such and such did. Like, I'm not even going to give them the moment in this time of saying those other names. But that's again a conversation for other videos. But I don't. That is disrespectful. But it's. I haven't heard Ryan say, "Hey, y'all chill." So if he hasn't done that, then it's, if you're not stopping it, then if you're not against it vocally or visibly to your fans, then they're going to take it as you're endorsing it. So if you don't come out and say, "Hey, y'all, stop this shit," I'm not about that life. I moved on. I got a fiance. Like, then they're going to continue to do it, and they will continue to do it. It's not an if, ands, or but about it. As long as he doesn't say, "Y'all chill," they're going to keep doing it. That's the sad part about it, and it hasn't. Luckily, none of this has affected her career though, because she's still moving. They might have slowed some things down. Definitely, maybe a few speed bumps because she wasn't moving as fast as she was before the incident. But it takes a lot to be able to do what she did, even when she did the R word, which was rape. Um, I've never been raped, never raped anybody, but so I can't even think on that line of what somebody goes through who uses that word. Again, but I don't have a vagina, so me and you can't sit on here and talk about what it's like to have a period. There's some shit that only the person who has gone through or has that on them can be able to formulate any type of thoughts about it. Like, I can speculate, but all my shit is irrelevant because I cannot go through it. She felt like, he touched her breasts. That was rape, or the beginning of rape. It was an unwanted touch. I don't know what that define or that definition is in the book, but it led to some other things, one touch, two touch, three touch more, whatever that was going to be. The fact that she was like, you know what, this ain't even a lead there, I'm out. So if she was like, this ain't even to get to that point, and she felt like it was heading towards rape, I don't know, but this is just me speculating. Two dudes that ain't got a vagina speculating, but I respect her for what she did. she got up and left. I don't respect the fan base for them not respecting her, especially if you felt if now maybe clearly they think that she's lying. I'm guessing, but if you feel like, and if it's any of those fans that are saying that if they are females, then that's even more disrespectful.
But
Because as a female, you should be able to relate to this other female. Like, okay, she said that she was getting touched unwantedly, and she left. Like, respect that shit.
but during the interview, he admitted that he did it.
He did say he touched her titty.
Who don't? Because
In a jokingly way, he said he touched her titty. So if you touched her, he said it, and she felt like, he even said that she felt it was unwanted. Like, respect that shit. For real. Like, it's not that hard, y'all. Like, he did it. Okay, move on. It wasn't right, but she felt like it was. So let's move on.
I think that word was so strong because when a person thinks of rape, then they think of getting thrown down, you know, something more malicious than a little titty squeeze.
Well, when we think about it as men, we do, but as someone is getting touched unwantedly, like, then again, I can't even think along the lines of what she was thinking about. Like, it's just hard, fam. That's like somebody, like, you know, this is me trying to draw a correlation to it. That's like getting called the N-word. Nah, maybe. Well, maybe. Because some people take it a little bit less than others. Like, if you get called a nigga and somebody else says it in a derogatory way, how do you take it one way with one person and a different from another person? If I'm drawing that comparison the right way, I don't. Rape is a strong word.
Very.
Apparently, she felt like she was raped or was about to get raped. It was definitely unwanted touching, which could lead to rape. But again, all of that shit is all a communication piece. Like, maybe somewhere some communication should have been like, fam, we ain't finna be touching like that, so don't do it. If somebody rolling over and touching a titty, they're already in the same bed, so I don't know what signals you're sending being in the same bed with somebody and rolling over and touching a titty. But, you know, if you're in the same bed with somebody, you're in the same bed with somebody, fam. You're in the same bed with somebody that ain't a little feat.
And we just made a record.
Right, but he said he knew she was lesbian, so, you know, again, that was that challenge part. Like, I know she's lesbian, so I'm gonna just roll over and rub on her nipple and scratch her areola and see what happens. Yeah. You know, she either finna punch me in the nuts, or we finna be getting busy, hot and sweaty. I
thought it was funny. He said, I thought she was going to get some sausage and biscuits.
He even made light of the situation. So, I mean, but again, I am not, and I know you aren't either. We're not making light of the word. We're not making light of the situation. I know that Katie felt a certain way about it based on her actions, and I respect her for what she did. I respect Adam for mentioning it, and I respect Upchurch for answering it the way that he did, because he answered it as truthful as the rest of his whole conversation. Yeah. He didn't take it too hard. He didn't take it too light. He just said, you know, it is what it is, and kept it moving. I thought, and I've never met Upchurch. I thought he was as genuine as a dude that's sitting in the car with me right now, just sitting, kicking the shit with somebody. You know, I respect that. That was the feel I got from the whole interview.
All right. So, in closing, we're going to talk a little bit about interview integrity and confidentiality.
Okay.
So, to me, like I said, this being what I consider a major potential look for the country rap genre in 2020.
Yes.
Yes. Of course, there's going to be people who were before Upchurch who's going to look at it and be like, why not me? That's just inevitable. There will be artists who were before Upchurch who feel like they should have been sitting in that seat.
Oh, yeah. And I'll get on that, but keep going, keep going.
So, with that being said, maybe 2 weeks after the interview dropped on YouTube, Upchurch took to social media and said that he just got word from someone in No Jumper that a established country rap artist reached out to No Jumper about the interview and how basically they were hating.
Yeah.
Approximately 24 to 48 hours after that post that he made, he came back on his platform, on Upchurch's platform, and actually showed the inbox that was sent to No Jumper by country rap artist formerly known as Big Smo, now Smo.
Okay.
And the inbox actually, I'm paraphrasing because I'm not going to pull it up, but basically said that this guy's not a representation of the genre. You should have talked to the real king of the sticks. It was kind of hard to watch. The guy was actually sitting there chewing dip. He needs some PR. He basically kind of picked apart. He didn't pick apart the interview as far as No Jumper's part. He picked apart Upchurch as a person being interviewed in what he considered discussing nothing and showing no class. Now, how do you feel as a journalist? Do you feel like that information should have been given to Upchurch?
No, it should not have. You never reveal your sources. And the fact that he sent the screenshot to the dude telling him, like, that's like journalism number one. Your sources are confidential. There's even laws to protect sources. Like literally laws on the books. So if somebody wanted to be a whistleblower or whatever, that type of shit, like they avoid prosecution of all sorts. So for him to even, the fact that he just told him about it, I probably would have felt a certain way about that. But for you to send a screenshot of what the dude sent to you, that's fucked up. Now on Big Smo was shady. Like he was throwing a little salt. But but Smo gotta realize when he was doing his shit, there was no jumper. When he was doing his shit, he wasn't finna be on BET. Or what's the shit with that came on BET where the dudes was rapping in the basement? Was that it? You weren't gonna be on the basement. You weren't gonna be on V103. Like fam, the new generation has diversified enough to where people that look like you and your fan base now have mediums for you to be able to utilize to use your voice. That shit didn't happen 5, definitely not 5 to 10 years ago. Shit, it might have just happened within the last 3 to 4, truth be told. So for him to even say that he did, yeah, Upchurch did have dip, but it was a personal interview, and the dude was really just being one-on-one casual conversation. I respect that part about the interview,
but this is
but you can't be
my question. My question.
Okay.
Now, maybe Smo probably had never, ever watched No Jumper before. Chances are he never watched No Jumper. I have watched No Jumper, and I've watched artists definitely smoke weed, drink alcohol. I've watched artists snort a line on No Jumper. I've watched artists.
I ain't see that one.
I've watched artists pop Percocets on No Jumper. Like,
wow.
So obviously, I've watched Adam pop Perkies on No Jumper. He's a well-known opioid user. So
damn.
I'm not knocking him. I'm not an opioid user, but the platform is open for you to be who you are. So I didn't really find any offense in the dip. He dips. I'd rather see him dip than snort a line.
True.
And I don't think
sure.
Cared.
Right. Well, no media training, that was accurate. But that ain't a negative towards that, because the media training would have been No Jumper supplying the interview questions, giving them over to him and his camp, and them going over it at least a week or at least a couple of days in advance, and then they prepare their answers before all of this. But that's media training. Nobody fucking does that anymore. Like no shit, labels aren't even A&R really anymore. So those ways, and this is Smo's OG status. Again, I'm not disrespecting Smo, but Smo was a little bit out of line by coming at Adam, no jumper, the way that he did on Upchurch's behalf. Because I don't think even Big Smo is the fucking proper representation of the genre. If anybody's going to be interviewed, it should be one of the OGs, like Colt Ford, or maybe Kid Rock, or definitely Jelly. Like Jelly got more body of work than all these some bitches. Like if anybody could have been interviewed to represent the genre in a long form status, it would have been Jelly. But I'm not for the leaking sources and sending over shit. So because you know his ass was gonna put it on the internet. There was no fucking way that he was gonna hold that shit confidential and be like such and such. You know, he ain't that type. He ain't never been that type throughout his whole social media platform. He addresses shit head on his platform. Like he don't hide none of that shit. So that in itself, I hope everybody out there that does journalism sees the lack of integrity that No Jumper presented and all of that, because that was disrespectful.
Yeah. Do you think Church will make a song?
There's been many people that come after him. Shit, lyrically in the news. Is Church going to diss Smo?
I don't think so.
Would that be he might throw a line or something in there, but I doubt it. It ain't even worth it.
I think making the blog that he made about him, matter of fact, because Smo calls himself the king of the sticks, and Church made a blog proclaiming himself the king of the sticks, talking about those his real cars. Matter of fact, he really took the hip hop approach because he got real disrespectful and braggadocious about. He went hip hop.
Right.
He talked about his 200+ million streams on Spotify last year to Smo's maybe 2 million. He talked about Smo using other people's vehicles and other people's backyards and videos, and I think he really outshined him. So I don't respect the record. I don't respect No Jumper for doing that, because I think if it had been just say Meek Mill and Lil Uzi Vert, I don't think No Jumper would have sent Meek Mill's Lil Uzi Vert message. I think that they underestimated Church's reach and fan base, because at this point, from what I see on social media, Smo has deactivated all comments.
Oh wow.
You ain't commenting on none of his shit at this point. Oh
well, that's probably a good tech. Yeah, he should do that, because we see what the Upchurch fans do with Katie and anybody else that's against Katie. Like, so yeah, that's a good tactic.
All right.
Just silence them all, cut them all off, eliminate the noise.
In closing.
Well, and you brought the noise on yourself, though. Just know that. If you got some shit to say, you say the shit in public, but know that when you're dealing with somebody on that platform that's not only a talented rapper that's got millions of fans, but this motherfucker is also a comedian that will clown your ass in 10 seconds, you might want to be careful with what the fuck you say. Because the clowning is probably going to win over anything else. He might out-rap you. He will out-rap him. But the clowning will stick more with the fans, yours and his, than anything. So I'm pretty sure he regrets that.
Yeah, he had made a comment. Smo made a comment shortly thereafter that said, "Little boy, calm down." But other than that,
no, fam, that ain't enough. Go on and make another album and let this shit go. Like, act like it never happened.
Yeah,
because you ain't gonna win that one.
Do you foresee? First of all, do you foresee other country rappers being on the No Jumper platform?
Absolutely not.
No?
There's Adam. No, there's Upchurch, and then there's everybody else. Now there's a small group of about 4 or 5 that's everybody else, and then it goes to everybody else. Upchurch is the epitome of that genre. If anybody else that would be on it, they would be one of the OOGs just for respect. But no one else has the pull. No one else has the talent that Upchurch has right now. Like Upchurch is doing country, he's doing rock and rap. Like very few over there are doing that way in a successful way. And plus the talent, the talent, just focusing primarily on the talent, he will out rap everybody in the whole fucking genre. They ain't it might take a super group to even compete with him of the other ones that's up under him, just to be able to say we're on the same platform. But I still think they would get bodied. And that would, I mean, and I'm not going to throw them other names out because I don't want them to be disrespected. But there's Upchurch, and then there's everybody else. He is the epitome of what country rap is today in 2021, definitely through 2020.
All right. Overall, what do you grade the interview from an Upchurch standpoint?
From an Upchurch standpoint, I give it about a 9. I still would have liked to have known a little bit more, and I probably would have watched an hour or more of the interview if I got a little bit more in depth of the music side. But I give it about a 9. You delve into him as a personality, and you got to know a little bit of his history of how he got to where he is today. So I respect that part.
All right. From a media standpoint, what do you give the platform No Jumper on handling the interview?
On handling the interview, it's still a win for them. They're still going to continue to get the views. So that's a 10 for them because the country rap genre has never had that spotlight put on them. So because he is their, I wouldn't call him their god, their idol, their representation. Because he is their representation and he interviewed him before he's at the mega status, it's a 10 for them, for sure.
Do you see other major podcast platforms that are non-country rap interviewing country rap artists?
I don't know, because the genre is still blossoming and we're still trying to figure out what the fuck country rap is. So I don't know. I mean, I would like to see, what's it, Noisy? I would like to see them over there with Upchurch because they dig it a little bit more. They go on site. They go to you and see you in your daily life, like that shit. Like let Noisy pull up at the studio while Upchurch is making a rap album. That's the shit I want to see. Like, how the fuck is he coming up with the lyrics and the wordplay and all that shit? All of that. I want to see that. Like, that would be more in depth. But I can't see anybody else. I can't see the Breakfast Club ever interviewing him. I cannot see him. He would never be in the Source. Like, I don't know. Again, it's all because of the quote unquote country rap brand on him. If he ever decided to go major, though, I don't even think country rap ain't even a legitimate genre, first of all. So you can't even put it on when you're releasing the music. It's either hip hop or country. You can't pick one or the other. I mean, you can't pick both. You got to pick one or the other. So I don't know, man. I can't see him on another major hip hop platform. And No Jumper is a platform, and it's on the medium size for hip hop, especially with bloggers. I mean, I can't see him being on Tip's blog, on podcasts. Like, it's just certain shit that, because of the genre and the understanding and him who he is, like it's messed up, but I understand it because there's so many questions out there and we're still trying to figure out, what is this? When Booty Shake was coming along, and I compare the whole genre to that. Most people compare it to gangster rap, but I compare it to Booty Shake. When that shit was popping, Sade wasn't on major radio. What's the old dude that you just interviewed? The godfather of the whole shit. Mojo wasn't on major radio. He was on AM. he had to take whatever medium that he was able to get to be able to be seen. So this is where No Jumper is for him. It's a good hip hop platform, but it ain't the epitome of what hip hop platforms that are out there. Like until he is on BET or in the Source or in one of those other major publications, or definitely interviewed on the Breakfast Club, then it's still a question. It's still a matter of them saying, is this valid? Is this shit real? That's the main question we get when we start talking about country rap. That shit ain't real. That's you listen to that? What is that? It's puzzling. So I can't give you a hard answer to that because I still don't know.
All right. Well, bro, this has been very, very eye-opening for those who haven't watched the No Jumper episode featuring Ryan Upchurch. Hopefully you'll go watch it. Hopefully we gave you enough information to make you want to go watch it, because he also talked about artists coming to Nashville. I would like people to hear what he said about people's perception of coming to Nashville. But
right.
For me, I thought it was a good interview. I thought it could have been more meat, but that's me being a journalist who always sits back and say, God damn it, why they didn't ask that?
Right.
All right, man. I always like to let people know what I got going on in my life who like to check out some of the other stuff. So everybody, before I get up out of here, y'all, please, make sure y'all check me out on Facebook over at Riding Dirty Radio. We do a daily song battle Monday through Friday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are the internet's only daily song battle. If you think you got a good song and you want to be heard by the people, submit it, and we'll get you on. What you got going on, sir?
I got a lot of stuff going on. But right now, my current project, I started a new project called Chuck Taylor's or Nothing. I have a Facebook page and an Instagram page. It's pretty much pictures of my collection, but eventually I'm going to start doing reviews of these shoes that I have, just so people can know, like, is this even worth buying? Because there's a lot of misconceptions about Chuck Taylor Converse. But it's Chuck Taylor's or Nothing on Instagram and Facebook. Just give me a follow or like. I will definitely try to follow and or like back.
Now, somehow or another, country rappers definitely would probably rock Chuck Taylor's.
Everybody should be wearing Chuck. It should have at least one or two pairs in your collection, for sure.
I have to say this about Chuck Taylor's. Why in the fuck do they hurt so bad on the first wear?
You got to break them in for sure. Well, that's the old school ones. The new ones have gel insoles. Ever since Nike took over, especially the Chuck Taylor 2s. If you can get any of them shits, those are the ones that you need to get, because they come with arch support and they have gel insoles, and they did not hurt or do not hurt as much as the old school ones and some of the new ones that are out. Like, all of them don't come with a sole, but you got to look on the insoles and see it's a black and yellow insole. If you get one of them, or I don't even know if you can buy the insole separate, but they don't have the proper support that they all should. And I don't know why they stopped the Chuck Taylor 2s. That was probably a mistake, but because they did have the support that you're talking about. But again, that'll be something I'll talk about in one of the videos too.
All right. Well, sir, until next time, we're going to do our part in educating the people on country rap music.
For sure, man.
All right. Peace.
All right.